an ad for me to read.
Like
Because he
what?
wants to start pimping the... I don't know like what. That's why he has to come up with one. All right. Welcome to the Practical Pistol Show. My name is BenStoeger, here to answer shooting questions. On deck today, Grandmaster Matt and Mimi.
Hi.
How's Mimi doing, man?
She's good. She's being quiet right now.
I wish I had a cat. So cool. And Grandmaster Tim. You're going to say hello?
We got no mic.
Oh, shit. His mic's not working again. That's so funny.
Tim Heron says hi and he waved to us also.
Yeah, for the audio rip listeners, there's a really dumb look on Tim's face, and he can hear everything we're saying, but we can't hear anything he's saying.
So we're just gonna, translate for Tim.
Right now he's smiling. He's always smiling,
He said,
though.
"What
You
the
know what I
fuck?"
mean?
I saw that.
Yeah, he did say, what the fuck. Just fix it the way you fixed it before, knucklehead. Now he's shaking his head like he already thought of that. But I'm not sure he did.
Did you check the plug in the wall?
Is your computer plugged in? Whatever. Let's move on. Let Tim sort out his mic. All right, Hopkins. Why is production only a 10-round mag? If it's production, it should be whatever count the mag's pistol is sold with. If it's just to please the commie state, screw that and them. If the match is in a non-commie state, the mag count should not matter. Just wondering if your panel has any thoughts on this. So this is kind of an interesting story, isn't it, Hopkins?
Yeah, I think we got to address it in two different parts.
USPSA being 10 and IPSC being 15. Yeah. All right, let's take USPSA first. So production became a thing during the assault weapons ban.
Yes.
So what was it? I think 98 it was proposed, 99, something like that?
Yeah, early 2000s it actually became a thing.
Right.
So basically they had to do that so people could buy new guns or current mags and stuff.
Everything was being sold
to stay
with
within
10
the
rounds.
law. Yeah, to stay within the law.
Okay, and then after the assault weapons ban expired, the rule never was changed.
True. The reason they say to do that was because it's not a 9mm only division, so you could have 40s and 45s.
And there are a few
on equal ground.
There are a few weirdos that shoot 40. There are a few.
There's no one competitive in the top 30 that does.
Right, but there's a few weirdos.
I'm just saying none of the top competitors do it.
All right. Well, that's probably true. And then IPSC is 15.
Yeah, the interesting thing about that is they opened it up to everything when they first started. Like if you had a 19-round CZ or a 19-round Tampa, you could shoot 19 plus 1 in that bitch and go to fucking town on it. Then gamers gamed it and were getting like 21 plus 1 because they were cutting down followers and springs and tuning them just like limited guns.
Yeah, I actually shot a couple IPSC matches under that rule set where it was kind of like whatever you can fit in it was whatever you could fit in a flush-fitting mag.
Well, whatever mag came with the gun.
No, it was you could use aftermarket mags. They just had to fit flush.
So basically, manufacturer would start releasing guns where the bases took up the space between. So like the CZs had a big +2 base on them, and they were from the factory that way.
So just so it's real clear, in IPSC it was like anything goes, and then anything went, and then people are kind of like, well,
All right,
like the rule got you. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Holy shit! I don't know what the hell happened.
We missed you, buddy.
Sorry, guys.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Everybody missed you, Tim. So, Hopkins, if you were king for a day in IPSC, would you change that rule to 15? Because that's what happened. Is they got pissed off and they're like, "Fuck it, we're just making it 15."
I like it how it is now. I think it's a good thing.
I was happy when they changed it to 15. Because I didn't like having. I think my Beretta held 17 at that point. I was kind of like, it was just they're like some guns had 19 that I was shooting against, and it was just kind of, it was a couple guys would not have to change magazines on a stage where I had to. I was like, oh, that's a little gay. Like, do I have to buy another gun now or something?
Yeah,
or...
I think the big thing was a manufacturer tried to like sell a gun that had 20 or 21 plus 1 in it.
Yeah.
And that was when IPSC decided to not go down that path anymore, and they changed the rule to 15.
Yeah, and I think that was probably a good change, just so they headed off some parts of that arms race, right?
Yeah, I thought it was good too.
So let's talk USPSA being 10 rounds. I mean, at this point, the 10-round thing doesn't really make sense within the legal structure of the country we live in, but it's the way the division's been.
Why is that?
I mean, why? Because the division started doing the assault weapons ban. I thought you could hear us when we were talking before.
I was so focused on trying to get my damn computer to work.
Yes. So for those who weren't paying attention for like the last 10 minutes, yes, the assault was started during the assault weapons ban.
Okay.
And it's kind of stuck with us. And then I think USPSA is kind of in a tough spot right now, because for like the production division rules on a lot of levels are not the way I would write them if I was writing them today, right? But at the same time, it's a very successful division and it's grown really fast, and there's a lot of interesting competition happening in it, and like why would you fuck with a good thing? That's kind of the situation as it seems to me.
Yeah, I agree.
So Hopkins, would you change the 10-round limit?
No, I think it adds a pretty interesting dynamic to the division. If we had like 15 or 20, say, just load them up and let's go. I think it would be a lot closer to like limited division, shooting minor only.
That is something I find interesting about shooting IPSC with 15 rounds. Is it actually seems easier to me. Like on that level, like I don't usually, if I feel like I'm going to be running up against ammo limitations, you just do, your reload in a different spot or something, and it's much less often an issue.
And then you have tons of extras also.
Yeah, you usually have extra shots.
On stage, you don't have to do a load, and you have 4 extras. That's like a third of the stage, so I mean that's huge compared to a 10-round.
So you kind of feel that same way too, like with more ammo, even if the stages themselves are more technical or the shots are more challenging, you're not running up against that ammo limitation.
True, because 10 rounds put you in a tight spot sometimes.
Yeah. Tim, you get fucked on ammo limitations for single stack a lot.
Oh yeah. And then of course that's the only division that really plays the game of, do you shoot major at 8 rounds or do you shoot minor at 10? So, I mean, it adds a whole nother dynamic to that division where anymore it seems like, especially this year, I've seen a lot of guys bring 2 different guns, a 9mm and a 45, or, a 40 and 2 different types of ammo to declare power factor after they walk stages. So I like the dynamic personally. So
you like production the way it is?
I think so. I don't know. I'd kind of like to see that. I mean, honestly, the production right now as it is, without the assault weapons ban and stuff, why doesn't it just follow suit with, the IPSC rule set? Because Classic Division does, and Limited.
Well, we don't follow suit with IPSC because we don't give a shit what IPSC does.
Right.
USPSA.
Because America.
Yeah, because America. And I don't think following IPSC makes any sense, because there's about 20 people in USPSA that shoot IPSC ever. It doesn't really. I mean, it does. I would say people like Hopkins and I don't move the needle.
Right.
You don't.
Not at all.
Yeah, you're not gonna do something on our account. I mean, if I was writing the rules today for production, I'd make it 15, because I think it works fine in IPSC. I think it'd work fine for USPSA, but at the same time, would I change USPSA rules now? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't fuck with production on any level.
I would agree.
One of the interesting things, that's one of the least things I would think about changing in production-wise now. Yeah.
Well,
I could think of 10 other things that would make more sense
to change than the round count.
Yeah.
What would you change?
Stippling allowed everywhere. red dot sights. No, I wouldn't allow that. I mean, I would get more restrictive and try to bring it back towards more actual production-made guns, allowing less modifications.
Well, interesting.
I mean, honestly, I'd have two divisions: a DA/SA or DA striker-fired race gun division, kind of like the production rules we have now, where you could add like stippling, do whatever you want, dude. DA striker-fired.
People only need the stippling on the Glocks, though.
Well, I know, but still.
I don't think there's any reason to segregate it into two divisions.
And then have a full-blown stock gun division.
What is full-blown stock? What does that mean?
Sort of mimicking IPSC's rules.
IPSC, what? IPSC rules are a metal race gun division.
They're not. No, you could be DASA.
Yeah?
Like striker-fired stuff.
IPSC rules basically striker-fired guns.
Yeah, but that's stupid because they did the weight limit on the trigger pull.
Yeah.
I would not have that. But you wouldn't be able to add like a Vanek trigger to your Glock. That would be specifically outlawed.
Jesus.
Like, if it came from Glock with a 4.5 pound trigger, you got to shoot it like that. If it came from Smith with the Pro Series with a good trigger in it, you got to shoot it like that. If you got it stock 2 all done up, dude, I think that'd be cool.
I think that's crazy. I'm glad you're not running the rules.
People shooting that
division. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like SCCA.
Yeah, like Hopkins. If
create 2 more divisions.
If anything has happened this year, it's that we had a big production nationals with lots of people there, lots of different guns.
I'll say there was a huge diversity of guns at production nationals.
Yes, there was lots of diversity with the guns. It was still pretty much a bunch of white dudes, but the guns were diverse. Right?
Yeah, we have a tough time with that.
All right, so
you asked me what I would do. That's what I would do.
Oh shit! If I'd known what you were gonna do was retarded, I wouldn't have asked.
Well, he said he's gonna put me in charge of the division committee, so you're welcome.
I know Foley is. Foley's gonna put you in charge of the division committee, and you'll be like, "Listen, limited. We're gonna have 12 different divisions. Like, open.
No. We're gonna have like 10 total.
Oh my god. Oh, no.
Just think, 10 national champions.
Oh, fuck. All right, so let's move on.
Well, when we kill L10 and Revolver, we gain 2 spots, so it's good.
L10, if you kill, like I said, man, you kill L10, you can have your dumbass carry optics. I don't care. You kill off Revolver, you can have your stupid ass stock production.
There we go, dude. Done. I'll take it.
If you kill Revolver, you may have it. All right. I just ran across your podcast, and I find it very informative. I have 2 questions. 2 questions, guys. I'm hoping you could address. I'm 52, and I just started shooting US PSA. I live in New York, and we can only shoot a max of 10 or 11 rounds. I was hoping you could discuss stage strategy for us forced L10 shooters. In club matches, I do rather well when I'm squatted with shooters who are A's and higher. If I shoot after a few of them in my squad, if I'm squatted with the new guys, which I am, I suck. It really goes to shit if I'm the first shooter on a difficult stage design. The stages I have difficulty in are the ones that have high round counts. They trap newbies into slide lock reloads. I make an effort to reload every time I move, but I still get stuck with slide lock reloads during arrays that don't trap better shooters. This doesn't happen every stage, but there's always one stage that takes some good processing before shooting. Either of you monkeys have stage design tips for this guy, or stage strategy tips?
Copy what the good guys are doing.
He can't do that. He's squatted with the idiots.
Squad with the good guys.
I love it, Hopkins. You cut right to the quick, don't you?
You can't do that. Let me think on it a
minute. He's gonna have to break the arrays down to more usable sections to kind of match his round count. I mean, it kind of sucks to tell a guy to, well, count your rounds and just count the targets and kind of play that kind of rookie game. But I think right now that's what he needs to do, especially if he's doing a lot of standing slide lock reloads. That tells me he's not really paying attention. He's just like, point gun at target, and if 2 holes appear, awesome. If not, keep squeezing the trigger till 2 holes appear and the reload is necessary. So he needs to start really focusing on at least coming up with a round count plan to kind of stand close to and be at first and foremost before anything else.
I like it. All right, I'll give him a system that's a little bit different than just copy what the good guys are doing. All right, so number 1, you're going to show up early to the match, like an hour early, so you can walk through all the stages and get a sense of the lay of the land. On a stage that's remotely complicated, you figure out where you need to go, and what I mean by that is figure out where you have to go to shoot from. So the stage might have 4 spots that you must go to shoot from. Like, there'll be a target forcing you to that position, for example, and there may be a lot of targets that you can see from multiple spots, but figure out the spots that you absolutely have to go to. Figure out the number of reloads that you have to do. Figure out the targets you can see from multiple spots. So, for example, it might be a 26-round stage, meaning a minimum of 2 reloads for you, and you have to go to 4 different shooting locations, and there might be 3 or 4 targets that you can see from multiple spots. And then it should be pretty simple to figure out, okay, like I have to shoot these 6 rounds from here, and then there's this one target that I can see here, and I can see somewhere else. I prefer to shoot it from this spot because it's closer or whatever. It's easier in some way. So you make a few choices based on the targets where you have real options, and from then on, it should be pretty easy to figure out where you have to reload. And then the other thing I would say is, if you have a little space when you move, I wouldn't be super shy about doing an extra reload. So if the choice is having to hit a really, really difficult position and leaning around something to shoot one target that's more easily available later on in the stage or something, if you have to do that shit, it usually makes more sense just to do an extra reload. All right, Hopkins, did you come up with anything better?
I think you hit all my points I was going to talk about.
I knew I would. Pretty
good at this.
Yes, but like Hopkins said, squad with better guys, or even better, when you show up an hour before the match, find one of those better guys and walk around the stages with them.
Yeah.
And what you're looking to understand is why they're doing what they're doing. It doesn't really fucking matter what they do. Just figure out the why, and try not to be too annoying about it, but just get a sense for kind of how they approach.
I was gonna say it's not a bad thing to ask them. Yeah, I mean
they're probably not going to volunteer the information. Like, you might eventually get it, but if you have questions, just ask them.
Yeah. All right. His second question, guys. It's about transitioning to glasses. He just started wearing glasses, but it doesn't help when he shoots. Should he have glasses made to focus on the distance from his eye to the front sight with his dominant eye, and then a standard prescription by non-dominant eye? Let me know your thoughts. I would say I know several people who have that configuration of sight, and it works out for them, or that configuration of glasses, and it works out well. So one eye focused on the sight, one eye focused on distance. Honestly, you need to try that, so your doctor can mock something up for you to try out for a little bit to make sure that your brain can make sense of that, because not everybody's brain works the same way. So an eye problem is oftentimes like your brain works differently than other people's, and whatever. So you need to try that to make sure that that's going to work for you. But if it does work for you and you like it, shit, yeah, man, get glasses made up. If you like just wearing your reading glasses when you shoot, that's fine too. It's just a matter of you have to try it and figure out what works for you, because everybody's eyes and their brains are a little bit different, and you may put the glasses on that your doctor makes where eyes are focused at different distances. You may have like a splitting headache in 20 minutes, and it may not work for you. So you're gonna have to experiment with it. Tim, you're getting towards reading glass age, aren't you?
Fuck you. No, that's that's the one thing on my body that still works extremely well is my eyesight. So.
Oh shit, dude! I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, you know.
I'm just going down the list in my mind of other body parts you have that don't work properly.
My hands are actually what's bothering me the most. I've got some pretty bad arthritis developing in my hands, honestly.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
Jesus.
So that sucks. That part of getting old is kind of sucky. But I do have to say my eyesight is like.
If you don't mind me asking, what's the good part?
What's what good part? We mean.
What's the good part of getting old? If arthritis is the shitty part.
Yeah, there really isn't a good part then. You're right.
Bullshit. You got more disposable income.
Well, that's true.
See?
Well, not right now. Perks. I've got a high schooler and a middle schooler, and the high schooler is going to be starting college in a year and a half. So.
Yeah, never mind. You're fucked. Tell him that he's actually going to be starting military in a year and a half.
But yeah, as far as eyesight, honestly that's a question I cannot answer because that's something I haven't had any issue with.
I do know several people that have the prescription scheme that this guy proposed.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
It's not uncommon for shooters, but you're going to want to try it because I do know people it hasn't worked for. And other guys just wear their reading glasses and they're good to go. So it's, you should try it out.
I mean, can this guy focus change? I mean, that's the issue, right?
He can't. No, if you're once you're reading glass age, that's the problem. Is you can't really change focal depth. So
okay, then, yeah,
what he's talking about is one eye would be focused at distance and one eye would be focused at front sight distance, and then what's actually changing is his brain would just switch which eye he's using.
Depending on what he's doing, if he's aiming or looking for the target.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
It's not a problem that you have yet.
No, I'll definitely get it.
Yes, everybody gets it.
Yeah.
And like the old guys listening, don't think that I'm shitting on old people. Like, I'm not.
It definitely is, though.
I'm going to get old, and it's going to suck. But you guys won't be around to shit on me when it happens. But it's going to happen. What, Tim?
That's just... That's a nice way of saying, like, fuck you, you're going to die.
That's what I told my dad the other day. He was giving me a hard time. He's like, I'm too old for this. And I was like, whatever. And he's like, you'll be too old too someday. And I'm like, you won't see it. You ain't going to be around. Doesn't everybody have a relationship like that with their dad?
Not quite, I don't think.
No? Shit, man, I wish my dad loved me. That's so fucked up. Well, this is a good time to end it. So if you guys have a shooting question or a life question or a question about getting old that you want to send to me, you get my take on it. Go to BenStoeger.com, send me your email. I'd love to answer your question for you. If you want to send that to somebody more sensitive, go to HopkinsShooting.com, send that to Hopkins, and he'll be nice to you, I swear. Right, Hopkins?
Yeah.
All right, good. Great show, guys. Really digging hanging out with you tonight.
Definitely.